So location sound is what you're capturing on set, whether it's the room tone, whether it's the dialogue, or even sometimes we get the Foley and other things that we need from on location. Some of the things that we need to do when we're on location, so if you are the sound mixer for a production, when they're doing the production scout, you guys call it Reiki. In the US, we call it location scouting. So when you're doing your Reiki, you should be a part of that team. There's no reason that you should let the producer say, oh, we don't need you, because they very much do need you. This is the way they need the DP, the way they need the other producers, they need you, because you're the one who's gonna tell them, hey, this location is gonna do this for your sound. Okay, I hear generators. So if we're gonna be listening to generators, maybe we need to face this way because my microphones will catch it in a certain way. Or maybe there's a train that comes through. Okay, we have to be worried about that. We're shooting by an airport, so we need to know these things, and we need to let production know. Because if there's a possibility of them choosing another location, maybe that might be better for location as well as sound as well as maybe the video. But if the producers choose to say, stay with that place, then you have to know what you need to do to get the best sound. Do you have the equipment that you're gonna need? And some of that I'm gonna talk about today, and so let's get to that. Let's talk about a little bit about microphones. A lot of people don't understand the difference between microphones. You think that, oh, I can buy any microphone, I can get a USB microphone and that would be good enough. I can plug it into my camera, that would be good enough. I can use the camera microphone, that would be good enough. But if you want to have professional sound, if you want your sound to be comparable to what you see in Hollywood, then you need to have professional gear. Now there's different standards of gear, and there's consumer, there's prosumer, and there's professional. So a lot of people will use these lavs that they buy, they plug into their camera. It gets decent sound, but that's just consumer gear. There's the zooms that a lot of people use, that's prosumer. It's good, but it's not good enough. So if you want the sound that everyone's getting when you're watching Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible, those kind of movies, then you have to use something that's professional gear, something that has the preamps that will give you the sound quality and more sound from the front than it is from the back. So therefore, if I talk like this, you'll hear me real good. If I talk like this, you don't hear me so well. But because it has some photo pattern, you'll still get me. So this is a dynamic mic. Plug it in with XLR. It takes phantom power. Phantom power is the 48 volts that you will get from your recorder that will power your microphone. There are some microphones that will take batteries. We don't necessarily use those on set in the US, and it's mostly because those batteries rattle around. And so we get what we call boom handling noise. So if you have someone who's handling your boom and you can hear them moving, that's boom handling noise. If the microphone is loose or there's a battery in it rattling around, not only will you be getting the dialogue, but you'll be hearing that as well. So we try to use things that are internally wired and they can hold their own power so that we can get the least amount of interruption in the dialogue that we're trying to get. And the best dialogue to get is intelligible dialogue. That means not only is it heard, but it's clear and it's loud enough to be reproduced in the ways that we need to do in post. So with this is another cardioid pattern where you'll hear more from the front than you do from the back. You'll hear some, but it won't be as good as the front. The lavaliers that I have on, this is a omnidirectional microphone. So that means that no matter which way I turn this microphone, you will still hear me in the same way. So if I turn it upside down, you'll still hear me. So you just have to know what kind of microphones you're going to use for what type of situation. With my boom, where's my other? So this one here is a longer boom. This is what I would possibly use outside. So this is a windshield. This is something that you'll use outside to make sure that the wind is not making noise in your dialogue. There's other ones that we call blimps and dead cat, where there's a big cage that surrounds your microphone and it holds it suspended in air. through rubber bands and a casing. And then it also has like a carpet-like thing that will go on top of it that we call a dead cat because it kind of looks like a dead cat. So the longer your shotgun mic is, the more directional that microphone is going to be. So just understand that when you see on these sports shows, when you're watching football or anything else, and you see the reporters on the side with the boom mics, and they have those long shotgun mics, because it's super directional. So they, as everyone else is making all that noise, they'll point it at one person, and they'll hear what that one person is saying. They won't get so much of everything else. This one's a little shorter, so we use it to, we make sure that we get the dialogue, but we also get some of the ambiance of the room, you know? So what we plug into the microphone, we'll use our packs. Now these are electrosonics. Industry standard in the US and Hollywood, the bottom of the barrel that you can use is Sennheiser. Sennheiser G3, Sennheiser G4, that's the lowest you can go. If you use anything below that, your sound quality is not going to be so good. The reason why is because these have preamps that can make sure that your quality is boosted to the highest level. It doesn't do any EQing, but it does make sure that you are heard properly. So with these, there's different types. So this is WheezyCom, which is a newer one. This is one I just got. You know, I wanted to try something new because I have electrosonic here, electrosonic. You know, most of my pack is electrosonic, which is one of the industry staples. This is a UM400. It's probably one of the more durable packs that you can buy. This one probably dropped. This is probably 8, 9 years old. I mean, actually, it's probably older than this because I bought it used. So. Hello. Okay, so now what you're hearing is coming from my lapel mic. The feedback is because of the microphone. My sound is going into the speaker, coming back into the microphone. It's causing a loop. So eventually I'll find the sweet spot. So when you mic someone up, can you all hear me? Yes. Can you hear me clear? Yes. That's what you want when you mic someone up on set. Whether it's for an interview, whether it's for a scene, no matter what it is, you want to be able to hear clearly. You don't hear any rustling in my clothing. You don't hear the outside talk and everything, even though you guys are being very great. But if there was a lot of talking, you wouldn't want to hear all of that. Even though these are omnidirectional and they'll capture some of all of that, the focus is getting your character's dialogue. So when you're on set, the next thing I also want to talk about is how you're supposed to dress. Because I've been on a few sets and I've seen the sound people dressing in whites and all these other colors. When you're on set, you're supposed to wear all black. And the reason is if you're the boom op, that means you're by camera. Sometimes you can't be behind camera. And so if you're in a space where camera might see you, if you're wearing all black, you look more like a shadow. So they can that helps them to be able to take you out of that shot. If you're wearing loud colors, if you're wearing pinks and whites and things like that, you'll be in the shot forever, you know? So that's something else that we want to talk about. The other gear, this is my harness. So when I'm not at a location, say like a sound stage, I will have my bag and I will clip it onto me and I will walk around with it. And I will have my boom and I will walk around with it. So on reality shows, that's how we work. It's usually called one-man band, where you are the mixer and the boom op and the utility and everything all in one. So you'll have everything on you all at one time. So you'll have your packs, you'll mic up your own people and all of that stuff. So these are the things that you'll have to think about as you're doing these shows. Are you gonna do a one-man band? Are you gonna be able to use a cart? Do you get to have a team? A lot of producers don't realize how technical and how much energy goes into doing sound, but you need a team. Just like camera needs a team, there's not one time you'll see a cameraman without him having a second, and a sound person always needs a second, unless it's something super small, like maybe an interview. of like one person at a time. Then you can do like I have, I put it on in a boom cradle, I would have it over my talent, and then I would mic them up too. One other thing is, for some reason, people feel like a lapel mic is all you need. That's all I'm using right now because I'm not on set. But if I was on set, your boom is your primary. Your lavalier is your secondary. This is what you're supposed to be capturing all of your dialogue with. When your characters, when you're going from back to back, you're supposed to be using this microphone here to be capturing everything. This is secondary. So if there's something wrong with this, you'll be capturing on here. And if something happens on set to where this goes out, you didn't pay attention and your battery went out, your frequencies are going bad, then you will tell your boom op, hey, they're mic'd up, let them go. You boom this person because I can't hear them, or because their microphones are not working so well. So you have to be aware of all of that stuff. So that's what the mixer has to do. The mixer is in charge of every single aspect of sound. Making sure that people get mic'd up, making sure you have the right equipment, making sure that everything that needs to happen on that set, you know about it. You have to read the script. I know lots of people don't want to read the script. You have to read the script just like everyone else. You need to know what's going on. That's how you're gonna know how many microphones you need so that you can do your prep. If you don't do prep like camera does prep, you're gonna be on set talking about, oh, I need. Oh, I didn't get batteries. Oh, I didn't get these things. Because you just sat there and waited. And it's a part of your job to make sure that you're just as prepared as everyone else. So when they're doing those days that in the US we call camera prep days, usually it's the day or two before we shoot, you should have that same day. And a lot of people don't understand that we need all those same things the camera does. So just to talk a little bit more about this card. The things I would have on this card is, for one, I would have my laptop. Because there's a lot of different apps I can have on this laptop. I also could have my script on this laptop. So there's an app that we use, and I don't know if you guys know about this app, and you can download it, you can write it down. It's not just for sound people, it's actually not even for sound people. It's for script supervisors. It's called Scriptation. Scriptation will allow you to color each person, each character, and you'll be able to see how many people are in each scene. Scriptation is in your app store, no matter if it's Android or Apple, and it's free. You can use it to do so many different things. Once you pull it down, you'll understand what you can do for it. It's not just for sound people, it's for some of everybody. But it allows you to be able to see how many pages you have. You can put your daily scripts on there, and as you look through, you say, okay, I have 3 scenes with 5 people in it. I have 2 scenes with 1. Okay, this will also allow you to know which microphones you need to put on who. Okay, number 1 is coming in. They're only going to be in for 1 scene. So number 3 and 5 will be in, but they're going to be in the majority of the scenes. So I will go and say, okay, number 1, she does have her own microphone, more than likely. Heads, number 1's on the call sheet, definitely want to have a microphone that nobody else is using. So you'll put one together and you'll have all of their certain things that will be just for them. So you'll put them on and say, okay, number 1 is always going to be my boom. You know, that's how I normally do it. That's usually where your 48 beat power will be. Number 2, I would say, okay, that would be number 1. And then number 3 and 4, I'll put actors 3 and 5 on there. Okay, I know that they're gonna be there. I won't switch them out. Everything else, I can move as I need to. And I'm able to label things. So there's a few apps that I use outside of Scriptation. There is Letrasonics app. So if you're using Letrasonics, SMQVs, and all of these other Letrasonics, like the one that I have here. With the Letrasonic app, you can do anything that you need to do on this. You don't have to touch the talent, which a lot of times, touching the talent will irritate them and will also get you fired. So talent has a lot of pull on set. If talent says that they don't like you because of your attitude and how you're micing them up, you can be fired. If talent says that, why do they keep coming to mic me up? What is wrong with this person? You can be fired. You want to touch talent once, and you want to be pleasurable when you do it. You know, you want to, hey, how are you doing today? my name is such and such, today I'm gonna be micing you, you know, especially if it's a woman. You don't want anybody saying that you did anything inappropriate. So when you're miking up women, you have to be extra, extra nice because there's a lot going on. And usually they have on dresses, and there's a lot of, you know, we can use thigh straps and stuff like that. But that means we get into their personal area. Some will let you, some will say, can you show me what to do, and then I'll do it myself. And that's fine too. Me personally, I don't like miking kids, but I will. But if you do mic a child, the parents should be there, and you should probably have somebody like wardrobe with you as well. So this just also makes sure that nothing happens to you. You know, so that while you're doing your job, nobody can say that you did anything inappropriate. You have witnesses of everything that happens. Okay, so again, so we have these different apps that we can use, that we can turn off the electrosonics, we can put them to sleep, we can change the volume, we can change the frequency, all of these different things. With these UM400s, you can't so much do these are more analog. This is my sound devices, 663. This is 12 channel mixer, so I can do small shows all the way up to big shows. My Wizzycom, this is 2 channels, my Electrosonic 2 channels, and the rest of these are single channels. I have my smart batteries. These batteries will last me all day, honestly. They'll go 12 hours. But we usually go to lunch and then we'll change. Because we don't want to get to the point where we're in the middle of a scene and then we lose something. You know, not gonna say that it's never happened before, but it's something that they're gonna look at you crazy about. Like, you should have been on top of this. Like, when they're going in between scenes and they're getting actors ready, that's the time for you to check batteries. That's the time for you to figure out if there's anything that needs to be done. Do I need to change my frequencies? You know, that's another thing. So with some of the more inferior lavalier packs, you're not allowed to figure out what frequency you are. That's why Sennheiser G3 is the bottom of the barrel, because you're allowed to figure out what frequency you're going to be on. You can do a frequency scan. So a frequency scan is something that you'll do that will allow you to know what areas in the frequency are clear for you to use. If you use a frequency that is muddied up and is showing high levels on your gear, that means that you're more than likely going to get interference on that channel. So if you're by an airport, if you're by a busy area, police, you know, things like that, you'll have to check these frequencies, and you'll have to check them often. There's apps that you can do that as well, but on your packs, you can do that. So when you're on either one of these, you can go on, you can turn it up, it'll check for all frequencies, it'll go through the whole spectrum, and it'll show you in a bar graph what's free and what's not. And you choose the closest things that to free, okay? This is my Sennheiser G4 transmitter. And the reason I use this because when you're on set, your boom op and your utility needs to know what's going on. Your utility needs to know who needs to be mic'd up and if some changes need to happen. So as your utility mics someone up, you're listening to it, you can give them the same thing that you're listening to through their ears. So then as they're micing up, they can say, okay, can you move for me? Can you say a few things? And then they can figure out if there's anything that they need to do different with your microphone. And if you hear something that they don't, you can talk to them, hey, when this scene is over, I need you to go and check such and such mic. Hey, such and such mic needs new batteries. I need you to be ready when they say cut. Okay, so I usually have 2 of them on, but I just put 1 on just so you guys can see it. So I usually have 1 for my utility, 1 for my boom. My boom op, he wears 1 so that he can also, I put the boom in his ear so he can hear what he is micing. If you can't hear what your microphone is picking up, how do you know you're picking up something good? How do you know that you're even getting what you're supposed to be getting? I've seen people holding a boom and the boom is past the person's head. I'm like, so what is the wall saying? How are you getting any dialogue pointed at the wall? You know, or it's just off to the side. They're more into the action than actually paying attention. So the boom is off to the side while talent is over here. And I'm like, hello, are you listening? You can't hear anything, but you know, sometimes we get into that mode. But for my boom op, I'm able to say, hey, put your boom back in, I can't hear. Or your boom is in the shot, lift it up. You know, because a lot of times you'll see something where you'll be like, oh, the boom's in the shot, you'll come down low. And that's something that you'll have to coordinate with camera before a shot. You know, that's something we call a boom line. So a boom line is when you'll say, hey, camera, can I put my boom in? You tell me when you see it or not. And you'll bring it down until the point where they see the tip of the boom. So you'll bring it down until they see the tip of the boom. And then you'll bring it up slightly. Because you want to be as close as you can to camera picture as possible, because you want to get the best sound. The further away, the thinner the sound will be. The closer you are, the more natural it will sound. So technically, you want to have your boom 6 to 8 inches away from the talent's mouth. You also want it to be pointed directly towards their mouth. You can point it down, you will still capture it. You know, just like you see my lavalier, it's just pointed up. It's not even pointed towards my mouth. But the fact that the way sound travels, it travels this way. And microphones, when they're directional, but this one's omnidirectional, so it's everything around me is captured. So you're hearing the sound that's coming out of my body as well as what's coming out of my mouth. So you get some of the deeper bass as well as some of the mids and highs. Okay? Other things you will have to have is you need to always have extra cables. These cables right here, I can plug and replug anything in. If I need to build another cart, I have enough cables to possibly do so. If I just needed, if I had more lavs and things like that in another recorder, I have backup cables to be able to do that. These are things that you mandatorily have to have. And even though this thing is camera's job, it is your job to have the slate. Usually you want to have a digital slate. I have a regular clapperboard too. You know, you'll let them write everything they have, but you're the one who has to worry about making sure that the time code is jammed on here, because time code is what post is going to use to sync up the audio with the sound. I mean, the audio with the visual. So you'll have to have both of these. And you're in charge of time code for the whole production. So when you jam your recorder in the morning, you'll jam your time code. What I use for time code is Tentacle. They're called Tentacle Syncs. And they also have an app. The app will allow you to, where's my So the app will allow you to see all of your tentacles in the area. You can add more tentacles, you can take them away. It will allow you to see the time, the last time that you, let me turn these on real quick. It'll allow you to see the last time that they were on. If they're on now, it'll give you the battery power. It'll let you know the time that it's on, everything. As you see right now, as a child, you get some toys and they have their own names to it. This one, it was already called Rivka. So I know that Rivka has 2 bars of battery. I know that the time code is on 548. I didn't set time code, sorry. But it's on 548. Otis, which is my yellow one, is on 549. They're pretty much on the same time. And it'll tell you whether it's line, whether they're on 24-hour, 12-hour, all of those things. You can set them up however you need them. You can make sure that one of them is the master, and then you can send out a signal that jams every other camera in the area. As long as they're in Bluetooth range, your one tentacle can jam everything, okay? Another app that I like to use is Wingman. Wingman, my volume going up and down, I can tell it what scene it is, what take it is, what production it is, who's on the production, what microphones I'm using, everything, time code, all of that. Everything that your recorder can see here, I put on here. But it makes it a little bit easier for me to type notes and other things. One of the things that we like to talk about when we're doing sound is CYA. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's cover your, I won't cuss. But you know, at all times you want to make sure that you're covered. You know, so if things go wrong, people know why. If, you know, I saw on Facebook one day, a guy was saying that his DP wouldn't allow him to put the boom in. What should he do? Okay, one thing, you go to your AD first. That's your first point of contact in any picture. You don't go to the director, you don't go to the producer, you don't even go back to the DP. You go to the AD. That is the first person on set that you talk to, and you let them know what's going on. I have this issue of trying to put my boom in, the DP won't allow me. It's not his job to tell you that you can't do it, honestly. You know, but some people like to hey, this is my shot. I'm gonna do it how I want to. I don't want you in there. Just use your logs. And if producers say, just do what he says, by all means, I cannot care no more than the person paying me. So I'll put in my notes, AD says no boom. So then when post gets it and they say, hey, why do I only have logs? They won't even call because they'll have that note that says they didn't want boom in the shot. Or if the shot has no dialogue, you can put there was no sound in this shot. And so therefore they won't come looking at you saying, hey, I got this shot, I see people in it, but I don't hear anything. Oh, because there's no sound in this shot. Okay, so as you can see, it shows my levels, which right now is, they're okay. Generally, when you're recording, you don't want to be in the red. You want to be between the green and the yellow. That is where we want to keep our sound. But for this purpose, I turned it up so you guys can hear me better. But for recording, I would have already been getting perfect sound. If it's in the red, it's clipping, you'll probably have distorted sound. That's another thing that we're going to talk about when we talk about gear, is gain staging. A lot of people don't, I know you know what gain staging is, but does anybody know what gain staging is? Anybody? No. There's two sound people here. And no, you know what gain staging is? Okay, so gain staging is making sure that through each step, you have proper sound. So with this pack here, I make sure that this pack is getting the proper sound, and I learn how to know what proper sound is. So on this one, if I can get it out of my pocket. So for this one, you'll see that it has two lights on it. And as I'm talking, you'll see green, but you'll also see the red lights come on as well. What you want is, you want those red lights to just barely come on. You want the bottom red light to come on, you want the top ones to just kind of flicker. That's how you know that you're at proper gain staging for this pack. Once you know this, and the way you'll do that is, while you're putting this pack on, once you have it connected, you'll start to wrap your cables and you'll just tell the actor, just talk to me, tell me what you have for breakfast, how was your night, and as they're talking, you're getting their levels. And you're putting them together. So, oh, okay, and then what is this scene about? And then if you know that there's gonna be yelling in this scene, you may say, okay, well, talk to me as loud as you're gonna talk on this scene, so that I can know what levels I need to put this. So once I have this level, then I will go down to my pack, and I will make sure that my levels here are doing the same thing. We do want them to reach dB, which is the sound level, which is the volume for some people. So we want it to be at a certain peak. And then once we have it here, then we'll come over here and we'll make sure that the recorder also is at the right level. So like I was saying, you want it to be around zero. So that therefore you're getting, it's gonna be loud enough, but it will not peak. I've seen a lot of people who will just turn it on and they'll turn it up as loud as it goes. And that's not how you do this. That's how you're gonna always get blown out sound. That's how you're gonna always have that sound. It sounds like it was too loud and they tried to turn it down. You can always make up gain. You can always take away gain, you can never make it up. So you need to put it where it's supposed to be. Because if it's already too loud, you can't change that by any means. You can't turn it down and say, oh, it was too loud on set, I'll turn it down now. It's still gonna sound blown out. You have to get it right on set so that when you get to post, it sounds great. And so then therefore, the post supervisor will get awards and they will forget about who you are. All right? So with that, we have what we call the microphones. So I use COS 11. So that's the type of microphones that I have on right now. There's other ones that we can use. Some people use the G4, G3 microphones that come with it, the Sony microphones, and the diaphragm is pretty big. As you can tell by looking at this microphone, these microphones are pretty slim and sleek. So you want something that's easily to be hidden, through clothing, through hair, other things like that. So you don't want to be able to have something that's going to be bulky. Because if I put something that is this big under your shirt, it's going to look like something this big is under your shirt. So when you're seeing these actors and actresses and you're like, oh, I can hear them so well, that's an art to even just hide microphones. Different clothing, stuff like that, Velcro. you know, it's going to make its own noise. You know, there's different fabrics that make its own noise, and you have to know how to work around this stuff. You have to work well with wardrobe. You have to be able to talk to the AD and say, hey, this is what's going on. You know, in the US, a lot of people like to have these windbreakers. These windbreakers are made by nylon. You know, nylon makes its own noise as you walk. All of that noise. Microphones capture everything. If you can hear it, I hear it even better. So when people come and ask me on set, oh, can you hear this? Can you hear it? If you can hear it, I hear it even more, because my microphone is turning it into a microscope. So I'm boosting the sound more than you're hearing it right now. So this is what we call a loud bullet. A loud bullet is used to mic people up. So what we'll do is we'll take this loud bullet and we'll put it down their shirt, or we'll put it down their pants leg, and we'll let gravity do its thing, and it'll just bring it all the way to the bottom. And so we'll pull it through, and this is how we'll use to try to mic people up. Sometimes we have to put on thigh straps, ankle straps, waist straps, but we'll use a loud bullet. Another thing we use is a loud snake. We'll also attach the microphone here, and we'll take it and we'll put it through their pants or their shirts, and we'll have it come through. And this is one I use more for the ladies, just because it's just a little more delicate, you know. And you know, ladies don't necessarily like something just falling down their shirts a lot of times. You know, you have to be very gentle on how you approach the ladies when you're micing them, because again, somebody may take you as doing something that you're not, so you have to be very professional. You know, so if I was on set, sound stage, I would use what we call RF antenna. This is one from Wizicom. It's called a paddle antenna. This paddle antenna I would put in the air. It's also digital, so I can change how much frequency comes in. I can change what ranges I want. So this does pretty much the whole spectrum of ranges. And if I put it up, it will get 50 feet in a circle, or a paddle antenna. These go in a circle, that's their range. So from 50 feet anywhere, any direction from me, I can get my frequency. So if I had, you'll see these flag antennas, ones that look like little flags. Those are more directional, so they'll go straight out. So usually, if you'll have them, there'll be one on each side, and they'll be pointing towards this way. So everything in that range, they will pick up, okay? One thing that you have to always have on set, no matter what you're doing, are your headphones. If you don't have good headphones, how are you going to hear what's going on? I've seen people recording with a boom and a lavalier, and they've got a recorder, but they have no headphones. How do you know what it sounds like? How do you know that you're getting the right dialogue? How do you know that you're not getting rustle from the clothing? If you're not listening, you don't know what your quality is. And how can you be the best professional you can if you don't even know what you're recording? Because when they hear it and it's not the best, you will not get another call back. You get one chance at this, one chance. You know, camera, sometimes they can do some things and they'll get calls back. When it comes to sound, because people think so very little of it, they think that you should already know everything already. And if you're messing up, why do I need you? I can just go find my little brother, and he can push a button and he can do what you do. You know, so you have to have that. One other thing that I like to have are context. I don't know how many people know what contexts are, but these are what we use to give to producers. I usually give one to the script supervisor and whoever else wants one, the AD, the director. And this is for them to be able to hear the dialogue that's being recorded. So while they're watching it, they can also hear what's being said, so they'll know if there was something that was overlapped, or if they didn't say something right, or if the tone wasn't good, you know, things like that. They can go back and say, hey, let's go do that again. I didn't like how that sounded. So it's not just about them saying, oh, we want to make sure that the picture was good. Now they can say, oh, it didn't sound great. I didn't get the feeling I was looking for. You know, sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, that was a good for picture, but it wasn't good for sound. Let's do one more. And you have to be vigilant about saying these things, because nobody knows that you need another take but you. And if you don't tell them, and you get back to post, and they've only done one take, and that one take on sound was bad, now they're gonna have to spend money on ADR, or they're gonna have to spend money on reshoots, and it's because of you. And do you think that because now they have to spend thousands or more dollars that they're going to call you back? No. First, post is gonna call you and cuss you out. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Don't forget to put your notes in, so that they'll know, oh, well, I asked for another take. They said it's good, we'll ADR it, which I've had a producer tell me that before. I used to be super, super rigid about making sure sound was super perfect. I was so rigid that they used to call me shh on set. So when I would come by, they'd be like, oh, they go shh, because that's all you hear me saying. Because if you make shh, if I hear you say shh, don't say anything when recording. Because I want to give you the best. I don't want you to go do ADR. I don't want you to go and have to reshoot because of sound. But some people don't care. Some people are like, well, I just want to get the video and we'll worry about sound. We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post. See, that's your favorite thing, right? We'll fix it in post. You can't fix everything in post. You can't, when it comes to sound, there are very few things you can really fix. You know, there are things that you can manipulate and make it sound like it's supposed to be that way, but it's very hard to fix clothing rustling. It's very hard to fix hissing noises. It's very hard to fix atmosphere that is interrupting the dialogue. It's very hard to fix frequencies that are going in and out. Well, you can't fix that point. But, you know, you don't want to leave anything for post. You want post to be able to just sweeten whatever it was that you did. Put a little EQ to whatever you did. Little reverb, add some music to whatever you did. You don't want them to ever come back and say, I had to re-record what you did. Because if they have to re-record what you did, you will not be coming back. Okay? So even with that, I have my iPad, but I also put these same apps on my phone. Because sometimes I'm working by myself. Or sometimes my boom op or utility is doing something else and I have to go and help because we may have so many people and they're rushing to shoot the next scene. So I may have to get on my app and say, okay, let me change, what's your name? What's this character's name? And I'm right there and I'm putting it in as I'm talking. And as I'm talking, it changes. And so if I'm not close to my cart and they're like, oh, rolling, I can hit on my phone and it will start recording for me. And I can sit down here and put my headphones on and listen to what's going on. But you know, there's another thing that you also have to worry about. While actors are mic'd up, if they're not in the scene, if they're not rehearsing, if they're not getting ready to start a shoot, lavs are down. If a private conversation is heard over a microphone by a producer or anyone else that it was not supposed to be heard, you're liable to be fired for that. You can, in the US, sometimes you can be sued for that. Because you never know, they may be talking to their lawyer or anybody else, and you're allowing that conversation to go live on the air for everyone else to hear. Your job is to make sure that you capture the dialogue that's being recorded and nothing else. Nobody else should be hearing anything else when actors are not on set. When actors are on set, all mics up. Because you never know when they say, okay, let's shoot the rehearsal. Okay. Can we get a little impromptu? Oh, okay. And sometimes they'll come to you and say, hey, these lines are not going to be seen, but we need to do some dialogue offset. How can we do that? Okay, that's fine. Let me give you a little mic. Let me get the boom. Tell me what scene it is so I can put it in. Let's record it. And those are called wild lines. Any lines that are done outside of what's on the dialogue. So let's just say you're having a phone conversation and your main actor is talking to someone, but you don't see who the other person is that they're talking to. They're not gonna do a whole scene for that person to talk because you'll never see them. They'll say, okay, we need to do wild lines of the reverse of this conversation. Okay, we're gonna let the director do it because you don't know who it is, so you'll never see them. So it's like, we'll let them talk, and so I'll give him a mic, I'll put them under the boom, and I'll record it. And therefore, I'll put scene such and such wild, so they'll know that these are the wild lines for that take. You know, you have to be able to do your file system properly. You know, you have to know your equipment to the T. You know, which is something that we get in trouble for if we don't know. But if you go to camera and you say, hey, I'm not getting, so sometimes you'll have to plug into camera as well. Sometimes you'll do shows where they'll say, can I get scratch audio? Which means we want audio going to camera. So either you'll plug in an XLR from your bag, or you'll give them a receiver and plug it into the camera. And sometimes you won't see the audio. And you have to know the camera to do that audio. You have to know the camera to do time code. You can ask them, but it's not even their job to know. It's their camera, but they don't have to know these things. But you do. You don't do camera, but you have to know how to work this camera to get these things done. They can say, I've had this happen to me before. Hey, I need to do time code. Okay. I need to do scratch audio. Okay. Okay, you're not even going to help. Like, you're not gonna, I'm not seeing anything. I don't know what to tell you. And the best thing for you to do is to build your network. When you have these situations, and this is not just for sound, this is for camera, this is for producers, this is for everyone. Build your network. Because when you're on set and things happen and you don't know what to do, you call someone, hey, this is what I got going on. Hey, this is not working, what can I do? Hey, I gotta have this situation, but I don't know what I need. These people will help you. When you have a network of people, like even today, if I was to do something here in Nollywood and I come into an issue, I'll call my friends in the US. Hey, I know it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but this is my issue. Oh, okay, Sean, this is what you gotta do. Or, you know, sometimes they'll send you a video on YouTube, or you can look it up yourself. You have to be able to solve problems. There's no time that you can sit back and say, I don't know. You don't know? It's your final answer? Okay. Excuse me, can we get a new sound mixer here? This guy doesn't know what he's doing. So, and I've seen that happen. And it happens way too quickly. They will keep camera and everyone else and allow them to mess up for days and days and days before they get frustrated. Sound people, we have like one chance. Because sound is not respected as an art. They think it's just you pushing a button. These are some of the, so these are some of the straps that we'll use to mic people up. So if you have on something where maybe they don't have a shirt, or the shirt is small, and you may be able to hide the mic, but you can't hide the pack. So sometimes you'll have to give ankle straps. Sometimes you'll have to give thigh straps, waist straps. I even have some for if we have athletes and they're running and they're doing basketball or things like that. You know, we'll take these straps, and on the inside, you'll see that there's plastic. And this plastic is to help it to stay on the skin. But when they start to sweat, it still starts to slip. So you have to be diligent about that. You have to have extra packs, because you're gonna have to switch them out if they're sweating. And you have to also make sure you're doing your laundry, because nobody wants to wear a sweaty pack from the last time. Okay, so inside here there's a pouch. This pouch is stretchy. I can put any one of these packs in this pouch. This being one of the biggest ones that you'll get. Even today, they don't even have them this big. So you can put this on someone's ankle. It'll go under their pants. You always want to put it to the inside. You wrap it around. And then this is where the snake or the log bullet come. You'll say, okay, I need to put the wire down. We'll slide it down, we'll put it on, we'll hide everything out. And now, as you walk around and someone has the pack on, camera doesn't know where it is, you don't know where it is, but you're getting the signal that you need, you're getting the intelligible dialogue that you need, and everything's working out for everyone. So it just depends on how the clothing that people are wearing, depends on how you want to mic them up. With ladies, a lot of times I have what you call a bra clip. So it will clip right in the front of your bra. You'll put it on the inside of your bra, microphone up, and I'll hear you just like this. And you'll never know it's there. You know, it'll sit there all day long until we move it. Sometimes they'll forget that they even have one on. I've had people go home with packs on and be like, oh my God, when I got in the car, I realized I was still mic'd up. And that's another thing, you have to be diligent about getting your stuff back, because they will walk off with it. These microphones, these lavalier packs are thousands of dollars by themselves. This is probably like $1,500, just this by itself. These lavalier microphones are about $700-800 just by themselves. So these two things are over $2,000 by themselves, over $3,000 by themselves. You still also have the receiver. This is almost $10,000 used. So you have to be diligent about making sure you get your stuff back, because a lot of productions are not going to want to pay for it. Even though if you are a business and you're renting out, some places want you to have your own insurance, but if you get on a production, that's one thing you need to worry about, is making sure that you get your equipment on their insurance. Because if something happens, you'll fill out a report that's called an LMD, lost and damaged, and then they will be able to replace it through their insurance, which it may take a little while, but more than likely, if they can fix it, they'll send you the money to fix it. But if it has to be replaced, they'll buy you a brand new one. Okay? Let me see, what else do I have to show you guys here? Okay, so that's about it for location sound. I'm going to have a small demonstration where I'm going to have someone do some miking up for me. So I do have a couple of former students here, and I'm going to have them come and mic up someone so that you can see how it works, okay? Usually on set, the AD will always be like, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? And your response is always going to be 30 seconds. Even if you have 5 people to mic up and they have complicated wardrobe, your answer is going to be 30 seconds. Whether it's 5 minutes or not, it's 30 seconds, because camera can take all day, sound has to move with the speed of light. Okay? So when your AD asks you, how long is it going to take you to mic someone up? What are you going to say?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. All right. So, can I get my assistant to come up? Can I get my wonderful speaker to come? Yes. So, I'm going to have her do some miking, and then I'll show you how. Okay. So I taught her extensively in the Talent Factory how to do this. Okay? So we're going to see what she remembers this. It's been a little while. So she's on the spot. So the first thing that she's going to do is she'll introduce herself, and then she'll tell talents how she wants to mic them. You're just talking to her. You're just talking to her. She's a little nervous. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so what she's gonna do is she'll take this long bullet and she'll say, okay, I want to use this, and let's give her an ankle strap, okay? So. Take this ankle strap, and we'll put this in. So, put it in backwards. So what she's gonna do is, we're going to take the bullets. Yeah, we'll take the bullet and it'll go down her shirt, and then she'll have it go down her pants leg. So you always have to ask, can I, are you okay with, before you do anything to anyone, but especially women. So you can tell the talent, now, so can you open and let the bullet come down? And then she'll just hold it up so the gravity will allow it. Hold on.
They didn't tell me I was going to do this, so voila.
We all love surprises, right? And you know, doing sound is always a lot of surprises. You never know what's gonna happen. You know, something that you've been micing someone up for a week, and you've been micing them with the same clothes and with the same mic and in the same place every day, but now on Friday, none of this works. So now you have to figure out what's going on, what do I need to do? If it's not gonna work, how do I fix it? How do I change? Okay? And so with this, what she has at the end of this microphone here, this is what we call an RM11. Some people told me that, you know, they call it a mic protector. Yes, it does that, but that's not what it's for. So what it is it allows you to not get the rustle from the clothing or the skin because it's protected here, but it also gives you a sturdy place to put it on clothing. So on the back, we have the sticker that we'll use to stick it onto the clothes or skin or something like that. You got it down? Okay.
30 seconds.
Mine? I'm not ready. So, clear.
30 more seconds.
Okay, so we'll put this one out. All right, so sometimes you have to improvise and do something different. So we'll move on to the next thing. So we'll use the snake. So if it's too hard to get the bullet down, which is probably the easiest thing, we'll go to the snake. And so with this snake, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go down, but we'll guide this all the way down to your pants, okay? So, and this is why, you know, you have to be very polite. You have to make sure that you're telling your talent what it is that you want to do, because it's very evasive. You're very in their face. You're in their personal place. So I'm usually playing some kind of music that, you know, helps the mood. I tell some jokes sometimes. You know, you have to do things to keep people at ease. You got it? You got it? And so, like I said, you say 30 seconds, it may be 5 minutes. Okay. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, so we'll take this one out. So I'll show you, because we're having issues and we have to go to the next part. So when it comes to this, I'll do you. So, thank you. Yes, you can.
A round of applause for me, please.
So with the snake, you'll say, okay, so I'm gonna use the snake, I wanna put it down, we're gonna give you an ankle strap, and then we'll mount the microphone somewhere around this area. You have to tell all of that, because they have to know exactly where your hands are going, okay? So you'll say, okay, can we put this down? All right, and then can you put this inside of your pants here so we can go down? And you see how I let her do some of these things? Because you don't want to be so much in her stuff that she feels violated, okay? So hold that open while I push this. And then so, because it's so long, once it gets down here, I can start to pull it out. Now without these things, you have to do this a little bit more manual, okay? And so you see that now it is down to the bottom. So I will give her this ankle strap. Let me put this back on. You also want to make sure that if you have a clip, you put the clip towards the outside. You don't want it on their ankle or anything like that because it will hurt eventually, you know, sitting there for a long period of time, it'll start to hurt. So you'll take and you'll plug it in. You'll say a few words for me. Okay, so as she's talking, I'm checking her levels. She thinks I'm just talking to her, just to, you know, have some conversation, but I'm actually trying to make sure that her levels are correct. Okay? You'll wrap it around. And you'll come up here, and so I'll take this tape off, and then I'll say, okay, I'm gonna put this on the inside, okay? And so I'll just take it, because of the type of shirt she has, I would just put it on the top part, you know? And then I would go back and I would button it back. Or I would tell wardrobe, okay, wardrobe, come and take a look at what you have, and I'll hide these wires down so that they're not bothering her. I'll put them inside the strap, and I'll pull it down. And then I'll say, how do you feel? Okay, walk around a little bit, talk to me.
Hi, sure.
So as you can see, with her talking, now her levels are here. Even though I can see them here, because I'm using wingman, I can check them here. And you know, if I'm not listening, if I'm the boom op or the utility, and I'm just using wingman and I'm telling her to talk, I know where her levels are. So then as a mixer, I would come and get my headphones, and then I would say, I would have her talking some more, and I would adjust the levels to where they're supposed to be, so that post will get the best audio from her. Okay? So that is how to mic up someone. That is my spiel on location sound. When we come back, I'll talk to you a little bit more about